Hello. It's been quite the last 2 months. I think we'll use the last upload as a reference point so I can catch you guys up to speed of what's been going on. So I guess from the last upload, we'll just start there. That week, things kind of grew repetitive. It was the same old wake up, feed Bella, make coffee, walk Bella, and then go to work. So it was like that for day after day after day after day. I didn't really have any new content ideas. I was growing frustrated with myself because I didn't feel like I was progressing forward, and I felt pretty down. I started stressing about money and my job and project that I want to do around the house. It ended up getting to a point where I wanted to actually just completely remove that last upload. I felt like I was lying to myself about how positive I felt. So the week after and the coming days after uploading that, I kind of tanked mentally. So around that point, I started writing down scripts and trying to figure out new content ideas. So check this out. I've got like pages, and a lot of these are like these scripts that I was writing actually are more of like journal entries, I guess. I found that writing about a given situation down helped me grasp and kind of better understand how I was feeling towards a given situation. So that's kind of what I've been doing, is just jotting down ideas of how I've been feeling or thinking like, oh, this would be fun to talk about. That kind of helped me get through the week, writing and kind of focusing on what was going on right then and there and not worrying about so much of what's going on in the future. According to this, my little roadmap of how I've been feeling the last 2 months. So I guess a little bit after, a little bit later, I was stressing about work and money. It was the slow season, so I was only working around 14 hours a week, 16 hours at most. And I was stressing about, is that enough? Am I going to be making enough to pay my bills? So what I did was I actually penned out how many hours I need to work at my current wage so I can afford to keep moving forward. And I found that if I work a minimum of 12 hours a week or 48 hours a month, we're good. All my bills are accounted for, and we'll make it to the next month, bill-wise. But knowing that number of 12, this is how many hours I need to work a week, it helped me find motivation to just enjoy being able to work, going after more hours, asking for more hours, because now I have like a finite number that I can physically see and calculate, hey, I worked 12 hours this week, tomorrow I'll be working 9 hours. So that's 9 hours extra money that I get to put into savings. You see how that kind of, yeah. So I actually ended up finishing a project that had been on my mind for a little bit, and that was a plant rack. All of my plants used to be in my windowsill, but the problem was Bella. Bella was the problem. She would stick her head through the curtains and she would knock the plants over. Or, oh man, she would get dirt all over the windowsill, all over my bed. I had just washed my sheets and blankets, and I was like, we got a clean bed. Within an hour, she comes ripping into there, sticks her head through the curtains, knocks over all the plants, and dirt all over. I was like, this is what I said, this is it. We got to do something. We got to build a plant rack. Turned out really good. It seems to be working. The plants are growing. Bella has not gotten into them. Knock on wood, because I don't want her to get into the plants that are on the shelf. So, moving on our journey of catch-up. That kind of puts into perspective how I was feeling about 2 weeks prior to the big thing that happened. I got into a temporary position as a inventory member. So what that is it meant for 6 weeks I got 40 hours a week, and it was guaranteed hours. Huge. And I said, give it to me. I'll take it. Not a lot of people wanted to do it because you have to wake up. So the shift starts at 4 a.m. So I was waking up at 3 in the morning to get to work on time for Monday through Friday for 6 weeks. So what we did was we counted everything in top stock, boxes, crates, pallets, inventoried it, numbered it, and then counted it all again. This was all the prep work for the counting week, which was 5 days of craziness. It was literally like these big phones with big old number pad that we'd scan some barcodes, other barcodes what they wouldn't scan, so we had to type in the item numbers and then put in the count of how many items are in that. We literally counted everything in the whole store. It was crazy. On the flip side, that gave me a fat paycheck. Very, very nice paycheck. Now, here's another fun one. During this inventory week, I was waking up 3 in the morning, coming home, taking care of the dog, going to bed, repeating. Okay, so I didn't have a lot of free time to myself except on the weekends, but grandparents came over from Minnesota, so I was over there, and very busy. And I had nothing to update on. Everything was just, I went to work, came home, yada yada yada. And I didn't want to keep doing the same once a week update of the same update. Went to work, made money, came home. See what I mean? I had to take a break because I felt myself being funneled into do this to grow your channel, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And I was getting sucked into this the mainstream BS that I don't want to do that. So I want to film how I want to film. I want to do what I want to do and just be me. Yeah, so that's why I also haven't updated in a while, because I've been kind of coasting through life and I didn't want to make just boring content, I guess. I didn't want to do the same repetitive crap. Sorry about that. Moving on. In the midst of inventory week, I got my employee evaluation performance report. Bunch of words. Basically, I got a pay raise based on how my department supervisor said I performed. So there were 5 criteria goals: above expectation, below expectation, standard, or exceeds expectation. Based on how I performed is how big of a little pay raise I'd get. So instead of being at $18.73, I am now at $19.11. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. We got a pay raise. Now, hang on. That doesn't actually kick in till April, so I have another week before that actually kicks in. So this whole time I've been working 40 hours a week. I haven't even been being paid the new amount, which whatever. Okay. So there's the pay raise thing that I've been wanting to talk about. However, there's this is the best part. This is what I've been writing on. I also got the green light to start department supervising training. That is huge. Okay. This is huge. I haven't been there exactly, I've been there almost exactly 1 year. Not quite. But the store managers said I'm doing well enough and I'm performing above expectations in 2 areas, by the way. Very proud of that. Customer service, and it was employee relations or something, working as a team, because I include my other teammates to help me with stuff. I don't know. Basically, I like to talk to people, and they gave me a gold star. If I'm able to land a department supervisor position, that means that I'll be in charge of the employees who work in that department and how they merchandise stuff and counting the quantity of items. So basically just managing and running a select department. That'd be cool. It's not too hard. And it would also start me out at $29 an hour. Oh man. basically $30 an hour. That would be pretty cool. That would really be cool if I can get that. Oh man, that's what we got going on. I've been working my butt off at work. Got a raise. Got the green light to be starting DS training, which has been going okay. Been learning how to merchandise and set up displays, and we have a couple new hires for this season, which is fun. But I've been kind of their mentor, I guess you could say, by showing them what to do, how to do it, what to do with this or that, or the general concept of what's going on in outside lawn and garden. So it's been fun actually being able to kind of delegate work to different people instead of just myself having to rely on just me and myself to clean up everything. If I, yeah, the amount of times I'm out there alone just sweeping up aisle 8 of all the rocks and stuff is boring. But now, in a respectful and authoritative way, I can say, here's a broom, make aisle 8 look good. Pretty cool, pretty cool. The last 2 months, that's what's been going on. I was feeling really down just simply because I wasn't feeling like I was moving forward. But looking back on that, I think it's mainly because I was just working so few hours. It was pretty much the end of winter, so I was, the seasonal depression thing. So I was already kind of feeling low, whatever. Spring is here. Birds are back. Trees are blossoming. It's pretty sweet. I'm working a lot more, and it feels so good to be getting these paychecks because I've really improved on how I spend. So all this money I'm getting, I'm able to throw in the savings, and every paycheck every 2 weeks is like a huge notch, just it increasing, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so every paycheck is just one step closer to my goal, which you already know what it is if you've been watching. So yeah, there's the update for the last 2 months. Things I'm working on, I guess currently, letting go of the past, working on self-doubt because I still struggle with that, and I guess that also ties into not living in my father's shadow. That's a good one. Yeah. In the midst of all of the good news, got into a little argument with my mom, and she basically said I should quit Lowe's, go back to school, and give up because this isn't going to work out in the long run, which is confusing. She also wanted to throw out that I will forevermore be living in my father's shadow. That was said not too shortly before I did the inventory stuff, so close to 2 months ago. But I'm still mulling over that. And that put a lot of doubt into me because it's like, well, dang. Is that true? I don't know. I guess, yeah. And when I say that and think about that, I look around the place I am, the setting, and all the stuff around me, and it's like, maybe it's true. So I'm trying to figure out how I can escape that, but I don't know if because he's my dad, so I don't quite. We're two very different people. We're very similar because we're related and we're good friends. See, that's the thing. I just don't quite know how to. I just don't quite know how to deal with that. But that's okay because I'm me, and I'm fine. I'm doing things that I want to do. And if that just happens to be what my dad likes to do, then okay, cool. We share common interests. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. Before I go, I also did get a haircut. I completely forgot to throw that in there. It's been on the dot 11 and a half months, and it's my spring cleanup is what I like to call it. So it's nice. I think it's nice. It's much easier to maintain and it doesn't get in my eyes all the time. Plus I was snagging my hair on everything and I was all done. It's getting too hot anyway. It's warming up. Thanks for watching, and I will keep you updated on more to come.